Hello, and welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam, and I'm a real person. And today I want to talk to you about Fairune for the Nintendo 3DS. I don't know, if you want to see a written review before, after, or instead of this review, you can go ahead and check the link in the description. I've got it there. And honestly, you're probably going to want to, because I wrote the review back when I first played it, and then it's been a little while now, and I just haven't played it since then, so I might miss some details or something, but whatever. If you want better details and shit, and it's just all noisy now, too, when I decide to record, then you can check that link. You probably should. It'll be better than this pile of crap video review, but watch this anyway, because why not? Let's go to the thing. So Fairune is basically like a 2D adventure RPG. A lot of elements are similar to The Legend of Zelda, I guess you might say. I mean, visually it's got this weird 8-bit kind of aesthetic, although it's like almost like less than 8-bit. You know, it's very pronounced pixels and everything. It's colorful. I mean, I like that it's colorful and everything. The story doesn't really matter. There's some weird bullshit with the evil or some shit. It's just there. I mean, it's even hinted in the story itself that it's kind of just there as a framing piece to have you play a game, and that's fine. Basically, you walk around this overworld, and you walk into things to fight them. There's no actual, mechanic of using a sword or anything. You just walk into enemies and you fight them. If you're strong enough, you will kill them, and if you're too weak, you'll just bounce off of them and take damage without hurting them at all. So you have to kill enough of the lesser monsters to level up, and every time you kill a lesser monster, basically there's like a few monsters you can fight and actually kill. There's a suggested monster which you can look at your bestiary or whatever the fuck in your some kind of tome. I forgot what the fuck it's specifically called. You must probably seen the video. The thing like on your in your menu, you hit enemies with that. Or you don't hit him. I'm crazy. You look at that and you can see which enemy you're supposed to be hitting, which enemy you're supposed to be fighting. That recommended enemy is weak enough so that you'll fight them. You will take one hit of damage. I think it's like basically you take less damage from them when you fight them, so that if you just keep killing a bunch of them, you'll be able to get enough XP to level up before you die, and then your health is just automatically refilled. There are some enemies you can fight that you can still kill, but they'll take down more health, and if you kill too many of them, eventually it'll start going to the point where you're not going to get enough XP compared to the damage you're taking, and you're just going to end up dying before you're able to kill enough of them. So you don't really want to focus ones like that. And obviously enemies that are too strong for you, which you might be able to take down later, those enemies you're just going to bounce off of them. They're going to do a considerable amount of damage to you. You want to avoid them. And the way this works is that a lot of times these enemies will kind of block your path because there'll be a lot of them, so you have to kind of avoid that area. And you can kind of see your recommended enemy is probably going to be in the area where you're supposed to go next. So they kind of guide you around the world with that a bit. And really the only way to keep progressing further is to keep killing them. There's actually some parts of the game where you need to kill enemies, not just to get by, but also just to unlock certain things. So you can't just go around avoiding doing that, but there's really not much to that combat except for walking into the appropriate enemies enough times until you can walk into other enemies that are now appropriate for you to walk into. So there's not much to the combat system or the RPG system, as leveling up basically just gives you more health. And, you may think you can spare a few levels, but for the most part you will need to, get high enough level to get some of the stuff. The other element to the game is traversing through the maps. You're exploring, trying to find ways to go, looking for secrets, like, oh, here's a suspicious-looking thing here or there, and you get items you can find along the way and pick items up and place them in places to solve these puzzles. A lot of them are logic puzzles as well, too, like what item do I need to do this thing, and like what item do I need to get through this area, maybe if I had like a pickaxe or something, I could chop this, or mine this rock or something, or if I had an axe, I could chop down a tree, simple like logic puzzle stuff like that, just like I need to find the correct item and use it in the correct place. You have to also look for like graphical things too, like, oh, this looks weird, like a texture on this one tree you know, the edge of the screen looks different than the other trees. Like, oh, I can walk through it, you know, like, it's stuff like that. So it's very Zelda-esque, and it's very classic video game stuff going on there. So, I like that. I like some of the stuff you do, and the puzzly kind of things, and just going around finding stuff and figuring out where to use it, how to use it, and how the puzzles work. That was fun, but I feel like it could have used more actual puzzles, or like I have to do like a block puzzles, or solve this or that. I think they could have had more of those in the game. I also think the combat should have been a bit better. Either they should have like made it so there's some form of combat to that, or some reason to level up other than just having to do it to progress. There are better ways to point you in the right direction than doing that, I think. And that's really annoying. I don't know. I just found it to be really tedious to just go around and kill the same dudes a bunch of times until you can go and kill more dudes. And it doesn't do much in the long run. I feel like they either should have been like done more with it, or just taken that out entirely and just had you run around and do the puzzles. Honestly, that's how I feel. There's like a main area and a few sub areas, and then I mean, that's really all you do for most of the game. There's not much else to really say about that. I mean, I don't know, the music's okay, the visuals are okay. I kind of like those, I guess. If you're into those, then the thing that really pissed me off about the game was the ending of it. Was basically for, and this is, I guess, is spoiler territory if you're going to play this, but it's not a terribly long game anyways. For the final boss, I thought it was going to be some kind of cool puzzle thing I would have to do for that. But the thing is, the final boss turns into like this vertical, like, scrolling shooter. So it doesn't really make any sense, because it's like, that's not what the game has been, you know, building up to. And so it's like, basically, I mean, the game has taught you to solve puzzles and to walk into enemies to fight them the entire time. And then this last part is completely different. And because of that, it's tough, because the game hasn't trained you for it at all. I don't think it's particularly difficult, you know, for what it is, a vertical, you know, space shooter type kind of battle, but it doesn't really make sense to do that there. It looks really colorful too, but it's just so frustrating, because it makes no sense to put it there. It's so out of place. The last thing should have just been a series of puzzles that I like were kind of difficult to figure out, and that should have been it. And I actually didn't beat that boss. I think there's a puzzle or two after that, but I honestly just was so frustrated and so annoyed with it, and I just gave up on it. And that's, you know, I don't feel bad about it. I really don't, because that shouldn't have been there. And I mean, if you can get through that, like I said, there's probably not that much after it. From what I looked up, there's not a ton after it. I can't be bothered to do that. I think I got my money's worth out of it, I guess, but I honestly probably would have preferred, you know, saving my money up for something else, I guess, instead. So that seems kind of short, kind of quick explanation of everything in the game there, but, you know, it's a short game. It's only a few hours long or something. I didn't play it for a really long time. I think I beat it all. It was either in one day, or maybe I saved and I went back another day. I don't remember exactly, but it's not terribly long. I got it for like, I think it's like $3, so I think I may have got it for like a buck and a half or something on sale through the Nintendo 3DS eShop. And it's not like it's not worth that money, but I think it's probably better to just save your money up and buy something that has, you know, might cost more, but also will have more to it and will be a bit better designed. And I wouldn't mind seeing a game like this fleshed out with more, you know, cool puzzles to do, rather than just like, oh, you use this item on this thing, you know, more like trying to figure out how to do things. And I feel like they could have fleshed that out and either taken out or fleshed out the RPG elements to it. They seem a little tedious as it is, and I don't know. Really, this game is also on the iOS shop anyway. I don't know if it's on other shops, and I think it's on other like eShops and stuff too. But it's like it's free. It's a free app on the phone. So if you're really interested, you know, check it out there. And I would say just play that one, because it's not really anything that's, you know, necessarily worth spending your money on. Like I say, it's not like it's a bad value or anything. But you might as well pay a little bit more for a game that you're going to get more out of, or, you know, save a few more bucks, maybe get, you know, a Game Gear game or a Game Boy game on the 3DS eShop instead, and just play this one on your phone and whatever. It's not like it requires a whole lot out of your, you know, it's not a Twitch movement thing or anything. It's probably would be fine with the phone controls. I don't know. So check that out, I guess, if you want to. If this looked cool at all to you from the video, you can check that out. But it just was disappointed in it, and it just wasn't enough there for me to really recommend it. And I don't know, if you guys have played it or anything, leave whatever you want in the comments for this one. But man, I'm just kind of disappointed, and I'm just out of it. Check the written review though. Go to the link in the description for a more detailed, better review than this one, because I think I glossed over some shit that I mentioned in there because I wrote that right after playing it, and this is like a month later or some shit, man. I don't even know who I am anymore. So on that note, what am I even doing in this room? What is this?